So you're welcome. You're welcome today. You're welcome. I invite your friends. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to this program today. And I'm happy to have a dynamic woman with us. So I want you to share the link with your friends. I want you to invite your friends wherever you are. Just indicate so that we know and that we can properly welcome you. Let us know if you're watching and where you're watching from. My name is Vera Sompon, and I am the Managing Director of Sompon Social Service. It's an organization that supports young migrants, supports human beings to achieve the very purpose for which they have been created. And along the line, we came up with a master's class, the business master's class, to support young people. Of course, it is an intensive 1 week program. And during this intensive 1 week program, we have chosen to help in line with the Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. We have also chosen to contribute to this agenda by starting up the Sompon Startup Funds, and it helps every year 2 to 3 young persons. For the past years, we have been doing that in Cameroon, and it has been an offline program. And this year, we are going online for the first time thanks to COVID-19. So, wherever you are, if you're interested and you have a business, you have a project, you have an idea, make sure you connect with us and make sure you go to the academy.samponminersocialservice.org, get registered for the program, which is coming up in August. And who knows, maybe you can be the winner of this year's Sampon Startup Fund. But today we are not talking about the master's class in detail. Today I want to introduce a very dynamic businesswoman. Remember, I have promised you already by now that we are bringing just the best for you, and we are bringing people who have put their hands into the mud, because I believe strongly that, of course, we have good teachers who don't do business, who are not entrepreneurs, but I am strongly for those who are practical as well and having knowledge. So, welcome with me a dynamic lady, our chef cook, Carol. Carol, you're welcome to our platform today. It's a pleasure and a privilege to have you. How are
Thank you.
you?
Thank you so much, Vera, for having me. I feel privileged to be on your show. And
I am very glad that you're here, and I know that you're on holiday, so the more reason why I'm much more grateful, because I think that your holiday time should be a time where you have to rest with your family. And I saw already you playing on the yacht with your daughters, and unfortunately, she got you well beaten. How does it feel to
yes,
be
she
beaten?
does. Yes, she does. It's a pleasure. I know, and I really need this time out. But you otherwise couldn't have gotten me on a Sunday evening, because this time is our busiest time. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of luck that and I wanted to be on your show anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
it passed well.
Thank you so much. But how does it feel to be beaten by your own daughter? And how do you link that to business world? You know, we get beaten and you start up a business and it gets you well beaten, but you know, you can overcome that because maybe it's a business world. But your daughter, really, I saw her rolling and I was like, oh God, this woman, just keep yourself to yourself and let these children do what they should do.
I know, but I'm trying to get used to that being beaten, because these kids are they're so energetic, and I'm
Mhm.
getting old, and I have to accept that. And they have so much fun when they beat me in something,
Mhm.
and we are all very competitive people.
You
My children,
know?
we are all very competitive, and we play this game. But it's fun. It's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of
Mm-hmm.
a thing I need, because our job
Mm-hmm.
is very stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to a timeout where I don't have it programmed, like we are doing this now and now, and then at
Exactly.
this time we'll be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So we are just moving with the flow. So when they ask me to roll down a field. I do exactly that, and
That's
it's
good.
fun, and it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
So let
actually
me.
a hiking trip. So
Mm-hmm.
that was yesterday. Today we were hiking the whole day. It's just
Mm-hmm.
lovely being out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, Facebook is I think this social media platform reveals a lot of secrets about us at times. Permit me to wish you happy birthday on behalf of my team. I read somewhere too that you got your birthday one of these days also cancelled. So but I use this opportunity to say happy birthday, and I wish you all the best for this new year and the new season in which you are, and that all your dreams and all your wishes and all your hard works, may they be paid.
Thank you so much. You know what happened? I turned 40 in March,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to, on the 25th of March, and I wanted to do a big party now in July. That was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
because of Corona, I had really planned for this party, because I'm not the kind of person who does many parties. And
Mm-hmm.
there are people who, they turn when they turn 18, they do a party. When they turn 30, I've never had that. So I was planning for my 40th to be really a big party. But then Corona happened, and here I am now, with my two kids. It's
Mm-hmm.
also nice. I just said I'll postpone it, because we at the moment we are allowed to host 50 people,
Mm-hmm.
and I had invited 70. So I think
Okay.
it wouldn't be fair to start
Exactly.
choosing and say, okay,
Mm.
you stay home, you come.
Mm. Oh no, that won't be
Sometimes,
fair.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
postponed.
Mm-hmm. Have
But
you
I'm
heard
happy.
have you heard this phrase before? All things work together for good.
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's turn it around for good and
Yeah.
see just the best out of it.
And I believe in that. I believe in that because I
Yeah.
believe in God's plans. So I believe God had not planned for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we are just waiting for the right time.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
having our guests already online. We are having also the viewers online. Bolifa is watching from Cameroon, and I'm having Maxwell Manza watching from Zambia. So we have young people watching you, Carol. It's a privilege, like I said before, to have you. And we have been discussing on the issue of what does it really take to keep a business during hard times. And I said, talk on how to start up a business. And you said, I think it is not only starting that is an issue, but maintaining the business. Kyra, this
Yeah.
is your platform. Let the people know who you are, because I don't want to repeat the narrative of others. So I give everybody the chance to tell their own story, tell
Mm.
who they are to people. And then, of course, I come back to you and ask you the questions that I prepared for you and the questions for the viewers.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. My name is Carol Waibera Muhlenbrock. These are two names that are not so easy to pronounce, but I come from Kenya. This is my 15th 15th year in Germany. So when I was Kenya, I went to school in Kenya, and I studied law. So I wanted to be a lawyer. I still don't believe I could have been a very passionate lawyer, but these are things you do because that is what is expected of you. So when it's asked in school, what do you want to be when you grow up, you say, I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a pilot, such things. And that's why. And it costed a lot of money, but I won't say that went to waste, because it's been helping me. Nothing goes to waste. So whatever you learn, it never goes to waste. So when I came to Germany, I was intending to continue with my studies as a lawyer, but then you come to Germany, you need the language. So I did the language very fast because I wanted to start as fast as possible. I was 26. So, and then I was told that I was to study for another 7 years, and that was not something I was ready to do, because I was getting older. I wanted to start a family. And in the meantime, when I came in, I'm not the kind of person who stays home and does nothing. So my second week in Germany was like, I came with my boyfriend, who later became my husband. Was like, I cannot stay home anymore. So what do I do? Um, we started looking for jobs, newspapers, and mind you, I could not speak German. So it's like I had to take anything. So I started cleaning dishes in a restaurant here in Germany. And during that time, my love of food started as a young girl. So I used to cook at the age of 8, at the age of 9, and cooking really not hobby cooking, cooking for my siblings, cooking for a group of people. So I kind of was used to that, and I loved cooking. I loved experimenting with ingredients. So when I started cleaning dishes in this restaurant, I used to sneak in and look at what they were cooking. And after about 4 years of cleaning dishes and being a waitress, I decided to do my apprenticeship as a chef. So it was a hard time because I had a child. My daughter was just about 5 months. Yeah, she was 5 months when I started. And, juggling that, the kid, the work. And in Germany, it's a dual system. That means you're working and going to school at the same time. So you have 2 days of school and 3 or 4 days of working. So you're working the whole day. And then in between, I also got pregnant with our son. So I had to leave that for a while. And why I'm saying nothing goes to waste is that my studies in Kenya made me have 1 year removed from the apprenticeship. I was supposed to do 3 years, so I did it for 2 years. So you see, it helped me. So after finishing my apprenticeship, I continued working in a restaurant. And then in 2016, in February, I opened my own restaurant with my husband to get together. So that's where it's called House Mimbrock. And we are doing African dishes, a bit of German cuisine, but mostly African. So it sounds easy, the way I've explained the process, but it's not that easy, not in Germany, because like everybody knows, there's a lot of bureaucracy in Germany, and it requires a lot of patience and a lot of, you know, collecting information before you start a business. So it's like in the beginning, the first thing we did was to look for a consultant, tax consultant, who advised us about every step we were going to take. So you have to have the idea yourself. You have to know what you want to do. So for us, it was this African, and why I can cook German food because that's what I learned here in school. I did not do my apprenticeship in a Kenyan school, so I'm perfectly capable of doing German cuisine. But the thing is, there are hundreds or thousands of other restaurants doing German cuisine. So it was a matter of having a unique selling point. And for us, that was the African cuisine. And we had to, for about 6 months, my husband and me went around 100 kilometers from where we live. Every restaurant that was African or said to be African, we visited. This is the work I'm talking about. You have to do the work before you open your restaurant. We visited all the restaurants, looked at what they were doing. Some good, some not so good, some not really. But there are some good things out there. So it was deciding what kind of a restaurant we wanted, because you have to decide, do I want a fast food restaurant, do I want a restaurant that is comfortable and elegant, and people can sit and enjoy a bottle of wine. So those are the factors we were considering in the beginning. And because I like fine dining, I'm not a star chef. I'm not aspiring to be one, because I wouldn't make being one in with two kids. It's really hard work, but I like good food. I like food presented nicely on a plate. So we decided to have that kind of a restaurant. And with our tax consultant, he wrote a business plan for us, with our ideas. But then what he does is advises you on what the banks want, because you cannot pull off such a thing without a bank loan. Maybe you can, if you have some euros lying under your mattress, you can do that. But for us, it was like we needed a loan from the bank, and we had to have all that. So that is the one challenge you have. You have to have an idea that the bank accepts, because one thing is that the gastronomy or the hospitality industry is a very risky field. So it's like the banks are not willing to give you money for that, because it's like they say, there's a restaurant in that corner, around that corner there's another one, why do you think we need another one? And the thing is, there are so many of us going bankrupt. You have to consider that fact. So it was a process. And what made us, for example, be able to get what we wanted, was our unique selling point, because we could argue like we are doing an African restaurant, and in the radius of about 100 kilometers, you will not find another restaurant in our category, in our that was our argument. And we presented, we had drawn all the how the restaurant will look like, our African touch inside. You even have to have the menu. What foods will you be providing? So that is one of the challenges you have before you even begin. And then what you also have to do is get um, professionals to do the work for you. So when you're beginning, when you're starting, you have to invest money in getting professionals to do the work for you. When you're printing your flyers, when you're advertising for your restaurant, because like I said, it depends on what you want your restaurant to be. But if you have decided to have a nice and elegant thing, you also have that has to be reflected on the outside too. So the issue of money, you really have to plan for such things. And then there is the issue of employees. So this is a very big challenge here in Germany. You don't get people to work in the gastronomy, and especially if you're living in a town like ours, a small town. If you're living in a big town where there are students, students look for jobs to be able to pay their fees and their upkeep. But in our small town, there are no students, and we don't get people who want to work in the restaurant. So that means there are long, long, long hours of working for me in the kitchen. And being a mother who also needs to spend time with her kids, that's a big challenge. You have to sacrifice a lot, and that's why I'm so happy, having this time now with my kids, because I don't get to have that a lot. And the other thing is the consistency. The consistency is about when you have already opened, you have to be consistent in offering your services and your food. So the guest will come today, eat something that they like. They'll go and tell somebody else, and they'll come back after 3 weeks and they expect to have the same thing. So you have to be really consistent in whatever you're offering. And that's why I say decide what you want before. If you decide that you're doing a fast food, do the best fast food restaurant you can do. You can choose to do simple things, but do them well and do that consequently. And that is one of the most important things in restaurants, because normally you go back to a restaurant because what you ate there was delicious, and you'd want to have the same thing. So if you go back and get something different, you're disappointed. And then you have to be some kind of a risk taker, because there are no guarantees in any business. There are no guarantees, but like I mentioned, this is a very risky business, and you have very many uh, sleepless nights, especially a time like this, Corona time. You're closed. We closed for 7 weeks. So that means there was no income. We were trying to do deliveries and takeaways, but it's not the same. Your costs are running, and there are no guests coming. And the fact that there are things you cannot change, but you have to be able to take risks, and these are calculated risks. Don't just budge into something that um, you're not good in. The other point is, if you want to go into the hotel or gastronomy or restaurant business, be a bit knowledgeable in whatever happens there. Please do something in that direction. Like me, I had done my chef apprenticeship. My husband has done also an apprenticeship in hotels and restaurants. So being able to to know things that happen in a restaurant, being able to kind of calculate the risks, is one thing that helps you move forward, and also doesn't um, you know put you out of proportion every time something small happens. And there's also the thing that, there are people who open restaurants. I'm a secretary somewhere, or I am a banker somewhere, but now I want to start a restaurant. So when you do that, you are 100% relying on other people to be in the kitchen, for example, and also to be in service, because you have no knowledge of that. And when you are relying 100% on other people without yourself having the knowledge, that's something there are other fields that you can do that, but being in the gastronomy, especially here in Germany, you have a problem, because like I said, we have a problem with getting people to work for us. So that's something to consider too. And then, like I said, the long working hours. These are times. This is something you should be prepared mentally to deal with. And the other most important thing is taking time out for yourself. That's something that has kept me sane for the last 4 years. So this is our 5th year, and what I do is we cannot afford to go away for a long time. So I always try to take 2, 3, 4 days where I just go away from the business, and just calm down. It requires a lot of it takes a lot of your time, and a lot of you don't really go home and you're home. When you're self-employed, there are things running in your mind the whole time, and it's easy to go into a hole somewhere where you don't want, because I've had that. The first year and the second year were really not easy, so I know what I'm talking about. So these are I think these are the most important things which you need for and especially this being psychologically prepared for what is coming. And you will be prepared before you start the business. And when you start, you feel like I was not prepared. There are so many things that are thrown at you that you were not expecting. So you have to be a strong person. You have to have your both feet on the ground in order to be able to withstand all these blows that comes along the way.
Thank you so much, Carol, Chef Carol. Thank you so much. Let me paraphrase what I got from your conversation, from your presentation.
Yeah.
You said you have to know what you want to do. You also need a unique selling point. You have to visit your competitors. I found this so interesting. Without telling your competitors, you're visiting them because you want to do the same kind of business. So you go around, check them, check their works, and analyze what is good, what is not good, so that you can properly do your own kind of fix them and have a niche. And you say it may help the process not to take the decision. And you also mentioned the fact that passion is important, but passion comes when you know exactly what you want. And for you, was this style like you love nice dinners, so that was for you a specialty. And you also mentioned the fact that we need to get professionals involved, especially at the beginning. We need to invest. We must invest, for example, in doing the flyers, and you have also the challenge of having good employees.
Yes,
Did I
exactly.
summarize your work?
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
what you said.
Yeah.
And in the course, we have also some people who commented. I'm going to come, but before I get their questions or their commentary, I want to applaud you because not everyone got the courage to do what you do. And I think that it takes only courageous people to say, I want to be self employed, and then get out of the space of being self employed to become a business person. And then I'm hoping, like some of us are getting into the entrepreneurship to begin to invest in the lives of other people. So I think that it is a courageous step, and I think we need more uh, business people because naturally we are all created to be managers. We're never created to by all means have to do be an employee by all means, but we're all created to manage staff, so by manage staffs with different people on board. So I applaud you for that much courage that you took, and thank you very much for sharing your experiences with us. And that takes me to the statement of Elvis from Cameroon. He's saying that you are a brave woman. I hope I find that statement. You're a very brave woman. Oh no, that's from Maxwell, not from Elvis. That's from Maxwell. You can also read that. Humble beginnings from a lawyer to be a chef. So inspiring. At times, we need to put away our professions and do that which we are passionate for. Great woman, keep soaring high like an eagle. Do you want to say
Thank you,
what
Max.
to Maxwell?
Thank you. Thank you. That's true. Sometimes it's what we start or what we think which line we think we are going to follow is not exactly what we really want. And I like I said in the beginning, I think I could have been a good lawyer because I'm that hardworking person. I try to be good in whatever I'm doing. So it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Even the time I was cleaning dishes, I was cleaning the dishes so well that my chef took me to the next level. So I try to be good in whatever I do. And but I think I'm a passionate chef. I love cooking. I love cooking.
And that's what Elvis saw in you and is seeing in you. Elvis says, when I listen to you, I have the impression that if you have to choose again, you will not choose gastronomy. Is that the question? What do
No,
you think?
I would do that again and again and again. And if you ask me in 10 years, I'm talking about the challenges, but it's still doable. We are still here. I'm not here because I've been forced to be here. I'm here because I chose to be here.
That's it.
So it's something I love doing. It has its challenges,
Yeah.
and I think I'm a person who works very well under pressure, and I love being a chef, and it's something I would do all over again.
And I think that I insisted that we talk on the challenges today also because I have the impression we talk a lot about how fine this being a business person is fine and being an entrepreneur is sweet, but we hardly make the people understand the challenges behind it. And I think it is good when we are conscious of our challenges and then we
Yeah,
can better prepare our minds for the business we want to go on the undertake, right? So
yeah,
I think we are on the path. And my question to you, or Mambo, another maybe appreciation. Mambo says she has neatly summed up the starting, sum up or the starting a businessman course. So somehow you really did
yeah.
a good presentation, and I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you so very much.
Yeah,
Now that
yeah, and
takes me.
you talked about,
Yes.
just before you continue, but you talked about it doesn't help anyone if I show photos of our restaurant and how nice it is, and you give the wrong impression, and everybody thinks like, oh, everything is so nice. It's a whole thing. It's a nice, which is very nice. Being able to be a restaurant owner in Germany is a nice thing. It makes me proud, but there are also the challenges. So we have to take it as the whole package.
That's
The
true.
challenges plus the nice things.
That's true. We are going to come to the nice things after, but today we want to talk about the challenges. This Maxwell says they say consistency is the game of champions. Maybe you want to highlight more on consistency. What's that consistency?
Yeah, consistency is waking up in the morning, taking my children to school, coming back, going into the kitchen, and starting to work. So working continuously until the children come home, cooking for them, being with them, going back to the kitchen, continuing to work until 11 o'clock. So then going to the office, doing the office work until I'm finished, doing
Mm,
that the following day, and the day after that, and the day after that.
mhm.
So
Okay.
it's going into the kitchen, preparing the things I made yesterday the same way I made them today, because every guest is important. So the
Wow.
guest who was there yesterday, I want the one who comes tomorrow to have the same thing, the same nice thing.
Mhm.
So it's you cannot afford to not work hard towards you know offering the quality. You
Mhm.
have to be consistent in your quality. You have to be a hard working person. You cannot do this seasonally, like today the food is nice, tomorrow
Mhm.
I slept a bit,
But excuse
I
me, what are you saying,
yeah.
Carol? You're trying to contradict the people who say an entrepreneur, they have time for themselves, they do what they want to do when they want to do, and all these nice stories I hear.
I don't think if you're really, you know, there may be people who have people working for them that they have, but I think you have to be knowledgeable. You have to know your business really well. You have to invest time. You
Mm-hmm.
have to invest time in your business for it to
Mm-hmm.
work, for it
That's
to
true.
prosper. You cannot afford to, you're doing this today. I have to charge my phone before it goes off. So you cannot do like, today I'm doing this and tomorrow maybe the day after that. It's investing a lot of time. It's
Mm-hmm.
being there 150%. And
Okay.
that is consistency. That's consistency.
Being there doing the same thing over and over and over every day. And that takes me
Yeah.
to the next question. How
And
did
try
you
to,
know that this business was the right business for you?
I like I told you, when I started cleaning dishes in a restaurant, it felt right for me. It
Mm-hmm.
felt like the thing I want to do and continue doing. So after a year where I was still, learning my German very fast in order to go to the university to continue with my law studies, after
Mm-hmm.
a year, I decided, like, I don't think I want to do that. I want to continue with what I'm doing here.
Mm-hmm.
And after I made that decision, it felt, like I said, it felt right. I was happy when I was in that restaurant. I was enjoying every moment of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeling right, and that is what I this is something I follow a lot in my life. I
Mm-hmm.
let something feel right for me.
Okay.
And when we come to our to my other thing that I've just started, I'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
about that. I wait for it to feel right, and when it did, I knew I was gonna remain there.
Okay.
But I was not gonna remain there and clean dishes.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So it was my decision. Okay, this is where I'm gonna remain, but then I will work my way up.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked my boss. Many people don't believe this, but I went to my boss and told him, you know
Mm-hmm.
what, I'm cleaning dishes here. So that's after I
But
learned some German and I could articulate myself. So I went to
mm-hmm.
him and said, I want to be coming here 2 days a week
Mm-hmm.
without payment to see how you
Okay.
cook.
Wow. Volunteerism.
So yeah, and he told me, okay, yeah. And then he saw the passion in me. He saw that I wanted to learn. And I would go in. So the cleaning of the dish cleaning place was a bit separate. So I would always clean very fast and go in to
Mm-hmm.
watch what they were doing and help. I would help,
Mm-hmm.
although I was not being paid for that. I could have remained in my room there. There are
Mm-hmm.
no dishes to clean now. I just,
Mm-hmm.
sit and wait. That's
Yeah.
not what I was doing. So I was
Mm-hmm.
I was going in there. It's trying. If you have decided to do something, try to be as good as possible in whatever you decide to do.
Mm-hmm.
So and that is my motto. So I was going in, checking, and after I asked him, when I told him I want to do an apprenticeship as chef,
Mm-hmm.
he was like, of course, I've been waiting for that.
Wow. Wow. But
Yeah.
there's something particular about you. You said you told him, I want to do this for free.
Yes.
So, and it was a kind of a voluntary service you offered to this person because you had an intention, you wanted to learn.
Yeah.
How do we
Yeah.
transmit? How do you've done that, you see that it worked that way, why you are where you are today? I am I'm very convinced about the fact that if I have to learn, I can also learn by giving my services, by offering my time for free without any without expecting anything. How do you transmit this information to other young people around you, that volunteerism, selflessness is also a very important instrument in developing business?
Yeah, this is the thing. Sometimes there are places we would not get into if we always have money in mind.
Thank
So
you for this.
sometimes you have, even when we really need money, because I was not doing free services because I didn't need money, I needed money. But the thing is, sometimes you have to take that away and look at the other thing you're gaining, not only the financial gain,
Mm-hmm.
but this
Mm-hmm.
other thing, because I was gaining knowledge. And
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing as important as knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
because it's something that is lasting you longer than the €10 you'd have for an hour, or 20 or
Mm-hmm.
50. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever you are, and if there's a chance for you to gain any knowledge, invest that time, because I think those hours I invested in the kitchen learning, I would have been in front of the TV,
Mm-hmm.
doing things that are not helping me.
Mm-hmm.
But the minute you volunteer to do things, even without getting paid,
Mm-hmm.
and that impresses the people you're doing this for,
That's true.
that impresses them, and they see that you're passionate about. If you want to do something without getting paid, it means you have a passion for that. it
That's
means
it.
it means you really want that, and that is how serious people take you. I don't intend people to come and work for me for free.
Mm-hmm.
But when I see that an employee takes an hour longer to look, for example, I change my menus every 3 months,
Yeah.
and some employees will come and tell me, can you give me your new menu? I
Mm-hmm.
go and study it at home. That
Oh.
means they're investing their own free time
Mm-hmm.
for my business.
Yes.
So, and that kind of an employee is the employee who will come
Yes.
and will get a raise faster than the other one, because you
That's true.
see they are interested in your business. They are
Mm-hmm.
always try to do that extra thing that
Mm-hmm.
everybody else is not doing, and that
Mm-hmm.
makes you stand out of the crowd.
Wow. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And that takes me to the next question. What are the step-by-step measures, tools you would want to give to us listening to maintain a business during times of crisis, or even
During the
when we are
time of,
just starting out? Mhm.
yeah, you mean it like now.
Let's
um
take like now, exactly.
yeah, yeah. So what I'll just say what we did. So after, for example, after it was clear that we were going to close,
Mm-hmm.
we met as a team, and that is one of the most important things, being having a team that you can call and you brainstorm. So
Mm-hmm.
here we are now, this is a fact, we are closing, and then what now, what do we do
Mm-hmm.
from? So we talked about, this is what we have. You have to know your numbers. You have to know, what am I earning? Um, uh, how much do I spend every month?
Yeah.
When I now not get that, what
Mm-hmm.
have I saved? Which is the other very important thing, to have
Mm-hmm.
something on the side. So how long can I live on that during this
Mm-hmm.
time that we are not having any income? So, and
Mm-hmm.
then we decided, like, okay, what we'll do now is do some deliveries and some takeaways. So we
Yeah.
have to send our employees home. We have to call our employees. We have to talk to them. So I
Yeah.
think the first thing is having um, a meeting, or even if you're working alone, just take a piece of paper and pen
Mm-hmm.
and write down all these things.
Yeah.
And that means knowing your business.
Mm-hmm.
When you know your business, it's easier to say, here I am now, this is where I stand now,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where I will be in 4 weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
that is one thing. And I always like having, in the beginning, and I understand that you cannot have many people who are working for you, because you're
Yeah.
trying,
That's
you're
it.
trying it. But as our business continued progressing, the next thing I did, because I like cooking, I like being
Mm-hmm.
in the kitchen, I love that, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
like office work.
Yes.
So delegate the work that you cannot do. You're not superwoman, you're not superman, you
Mhm.
cannot do everything.
Mhm.
So delegate the work that you cannot do well to people who can do this work better. You know?
Please, I have to
You
just laugh with this delegate this thing because I have the impression that I see people just do everything, and I'm like, wow. When
yeah,
most of the time when they see me do things, they're like, "You're just doing many things." I'm like, but this is a company with different people in it, so I am just
exactly.
representing this entire structure. So, but I'm not the one doing all this work. I mean, then
It's
you
not
would die.
possible.
Of course, you're doing a great deal of the work. You're the brain behind it. That's true.
Mhm.
But you need
Yeah,
all the other people to come in and give the necessary support so that it move
yeah,
forward. Thank you
yeah,
so much.
exactly. It's so important to have a team. It's so important. And like I said, I understand, because in the beginning I was also doing everything. But
Hmm.
you at some point you find that um, everything is done halfway, because you cannot. It's not able. You're not able alone. I know how to cook, but I have a problem with bookkeeping. So when I
I like
cook,
that.
I
I
don't.
like that, Carol, Chef Carol. I like that. You can do everything, and everything will be done halfway. And I see
Exactly.
this most of the time, even with
Mm,
our African business people.
yeah,
And
yeah.
please, can you advise us? What is that thing that we should do consistently so that we can become the best in that one thing and then maybe can grow up another thing? Is there a way you can advise us?
Yeah, I think the most important for me, what I can only talk about my experiences, but what I think
Mhm.
is putting your energy in doing the thing that you can do best.
Yeah.
Because if you're putting your energy in doing things, I like I said, office work is not my thing. So when you start trying to put, I sometimes I would sit there and I would start crying, because I was
Mm-hmm.
not I was not into that. So after I delegated that, and I was able to concentrate 100% in my kitchen and my
Mm-hmm.
kitchen work, I found you get the the passion is there,
Yeah,
but then you're happy in whatever you're doing. it's
definitely.
not it's not a burdening work, because it's you wake up in the morning, go to the kitchen, you have all these ingredients, and you're happy doing that. So the
Mm-hmm.
consistency comes also from doing something that you love
We
doing.
love. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what was, for example, it's very important for me to give up this kind of work that I don't like doing, and
Mm-hmm.
let that work be done by other professionals who do
Mm-hmm.
that work much better than
Professionally.
me. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And
Thank you so
yeah.
much. We have someone appreciating you here, Cynthia Fru. She says that was a wise decision you took as a volunteer. It shows how passionate and how entrepreneur focused you are. We need motivated Africans like you in this generation. Bravo.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you.
And Cynthia is also asking the question: How do you get a how do you get a working team? I think that's a tough question, and many people
It
have
is.
that challenge.
Yeah, but I think you also attract people who are like you, and this is true.
Wow.
Yeah, you attract the force that you are. So if I am in my office and I'm using my phone all the time, and I'm just hanging around, not doing the work that how it's supposed to be done, that's how my employees will be. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the kind of force that or energy that I am attracting.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm doing my interviews, and which is also a very important point, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
that's where it starts. When you're
Yeah.
doing your interview, I rely a lot on my, this feeling. There are
Yes.
people I see and we connect immediately. There
Yeah.
are people who have to grow into the team,
Mm-hmm.
but you also see the potential from the very beginning, because you have to see it. You have to see it in their eyes. You have to see
Yeah.
the, there's something. There are people who will come there and they'll present their best
Mm-hmm.
certificates,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't, even when they are really um, knowledgeable in whatever they did, they don't
Mm-hmm.
fit into your team.
That's true.
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you have to employ everybody who has an A in their exams or who did well in their exams. There
Mm-hmm.
have to be there have to be some kind of chemistry.
That's
So
true.
you would have somebody who maybe wasn't so good in school, but
Mm-hmm.
passed it fits so well in your team. And as
Mm-hmm.
a team leader, it's up to you to delegate the work, because I don't think there's a bad employee. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
us who
Yeah.
don't delegate the work,
Properly
giving
too.
everybody
Mm-hmm.
giving everybody the work that they can do and they are able to
Mm-hmm.
do. And
Mm-hmm.
that way, they are good in their field, they're good in what they do. I cannot take my office guy now and put him in the kitchen, because he won't
Mm-hmm.
work satisfactorily.
That's
And
true. That's true.
the person who cleans the salads can also not fry a piece of meat to my or to our guests' satisfaction. So you
Mm-hmm.
have to place your employees in the fields that they are good in, and that makes them also blossom in their work, because they can improve in whatever they are doing.
Mm-hmm. And I want to add to this. I think that you should never employ your friend and the people that are around you, because I think that would be a very big mistake. And then, secondly, I also think that I give people the chance to write their own work description, because as a company, we have diverse areas of work. I may be choosing you for one particular area. Then I ask you, give me your description, what you can do best. So now I
Mm.
hold you responsible with your own description, what you said
Exactly.
you can do best. So I think it is like you said, you attract at times what you
Yeah.
really are. I want to
Yeah.
also show another comment from Ma says, well said, Chef Carol. I think that from now on, everybody is going to be calling you Chef Carol.
That's okay. That's okay. Because like I said, I'm also doing some shows now, and
Mhm.
the point I wanted to put across is, when you start and you have your own base, you have your own
Mhm.
foundation of the thing you love doing, and
That's
then
it.
if you want to expand on that.
So that's it.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing my shows now, but the baseline is the cooking. So this is something
Perfect.
I always wanted to do. I wanted to be a talk show host. I wanted
Yeah.
to, I like talking to people. I like, having people around me.
Mhm.
And I didn't get a chance to do that. I even didn't know how I was gonna do that, but I
Mhm.
knew somehow, I knew I was gonna do that at some point in my life. So
Somehow
I
we have
took
a
my
lot of similarities. I studied law in Cameroon, and I always wanted to be a journalist, and somehow I didn't do journalism here in Germany, and now here we are having interviews.
exactly. So I combine that, and my kitchen is now my studio where I do my
Yeah.
talk show.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful.
exactly.
The
Yeah.
time always goes so fast when we have very
Oh
interesting
my
people.
God.
It's almost an hour now, and I would like you to have a word. What will you tell upcoming business people? We have young people here watching. We have Maxwell watching from Zambia. He's a young guy, wants to open his own business. We have Chefo watching from Cameroon, would like to open his own business. We have diverse people. What would you tell, like sort of your coaching? Now, I want you to coach our people who want to do business. What would you tell them
Yeah.
to begin with?
Yeah.
What's your last
Um,
words for them?
yeah. Maybe first of all, I'm not an expert in this, but I'll talk from my experience. Collect as much information as you can. for the field that you want to get into. That is very, very important. Go to the people who are doing the same business. Read as much as possible about the work you want to do. I think this is the first and most important thing you have to do before you start your own business. Have as much information as possible about it. Be clear about the risks you're taking. Don't just jump into cold water without having considered. It's not always that 100% sure that your business works. So be aware of the risk you're getting into. So if you have 100,000, maybe invest 70, put 30 on the side for any eventuality, and then be consistent. Know your customers. Know the business you're getting into. That was also something maybe I didn't talk much about. Choose and be sure, or know who am I intending to have as my customer, and then plan and shape your business to fit that.
Okay.
Yeah, to
Beautiful.
fit that customer you have in mind. So if I am intending to have women from age 40 to 50 or 60, and it's very important to have your clientele in mind. I will not go making very short mini skirts, because these are meant for
They
80
won't
years
have it.
old. Yeah, exactly. So have your clientele in mind, and cater for that group. And
Thank
like I
you
said,
so much.
consistency.
Thank you so very much. And we have one last question, but I think you are going to answer that question offline because our time is almost going to an end. I
Yeah.
had a private question for you for my young people. We are going to be training them in August, from the 17th to the 22nd of August, and they are in the African continent, all over the world. And I'm always looking for good coaches for them. And I tell them the coaches I bring on board are the people that have soaked their hands in mud. My question to you: would you like to coach two of our young people?
I'll be glad to. I'll be glad to. And this is something I'm also very passionate about, because, like I said in the beginning, the work of a chef, for example, when you tell somebody I want to be a chef, they think you're not ambitious enough. But you can be
Oh,
good. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what
mhm,
you can be good in whatever you're doing.
that's
And
true.
my passion at the moment is, coaching young people, getting into this
Beautiful.
profession, being, if possible, somebody they look up to, because
Mhm,
they see that you can be somebody, even
yes.
cooking.
Mhm. Thank you so very much. And the last word from Cynthia. I gather that passion and experiences is the number one priority, followed by chemistry. Great answer. Thank you. Carol,
Thank you too.
thank you so much. The time is almost to an end now, and
Oh,
I don't want to cheat on our listeners, so I want to appreciate you and thank you very much for being here. Thank you for taking your special time out of your holiday to speak to us. I am very very grateful. And
it was a
ladies and
pleasure.
gentlemen, yes, you want to say something, Carol?
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Carol. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to an end of our program again. It was an hour and it went too fast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being our family. Share the link with your friends, with your family. Remember, for those who want to register for the upcoming business masters class, register. Go to our website, register. These are the people you're going to be having as well, people who have put their hands into the mud so that they can give you the right experiences also with the teachings. Thank you. We are meeting same time next week, and it was nice being here with you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Have a nice is it weekend?